We are Nathan and Hannah.
And this time on Fool's Bucket List, we will be talking all things tea houses.
We will be covering useful information and tips that we gained on our G Adventures experience, which was the end of March to early April this year, 2023.
Yeah, this is purely just a in-depth information video to help you guys prepare yourself for your stays along the EBC trek in all the little Himalayan villages.
Yeah, we do have a complete series of our full EBC trek experience, which was absolutely incredible. So if you haven't watched that already, yeah, you can find that on our channel as well. That was just amazing.
Yeah. Right, shall we get started?
Let's talk tea houses.
So what is a tea house?
So a tea house is basically, it's more than just somewhere to sleep. It's a big family home where you're welcomed as a group to eat, drink, rest, stock up on supplies, and if you're lucky you'll be able to charge your phone, cameras, devices, and even take a hot shower.
Yeah, I mean, don't get expecting the Radisson. The tea houses are very basic. There's very few little digital distractions, which means when it comes to your downtime, you can really get to know the group, can't you? The questions and stuff that you ask people and the information, it's such a laugh, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Being at the tea houses, spending that time with your group, it's one of the best things about the trek, isn't it?
Yeah, we laughed so much and had so many stories and learnt so much about the amazing people. Big up, guys.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, so the tea houses, they vary as well from the bottom, don't they, to the top of the trek. Yeah. But we'll cover each tea house by tea house throughout this video. And just to name a few things that is coming up, there's frozen windows on the inside of the windows.
Frozen toilets,
frozen pipes.
Yeah.
So let's kick off our first tea house, which was Meera Lodge at Lukla.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It was about 10 minutes after we got off the plane. We had our breakfast there. I can remember walking in. It was quite cold, but it reminded me of a pub. Just like a bar, and the layout of it is quite like a traditional pub. And we sat there and we had breakfast, didn't we?
We did, and the menu for breakfast, this is where you'll get a feel of what's to come for your breakfast, lunches, dinners, because you get given a menu, don't you?
Yeah.
Breakfast, they cover Tibetan bread, toast, porridge, pancakes, eggs. It's not all just plain. You can get it's apple cinnamon porridge,
yes,
honey porridge, jam on toast. There's just so much options for breakfast.
Yeah.
And then you'll find out at breakfast as well when you first get there that your Sherpas, you'll meet all your Sherpas. Your CEO will introduce you to everyone and he will tell you what's going on. So each morning when you wake up, you have to get your bags ready, don't you, before you go for breakfast. So you have your bags ready outside the room. That's every single morning. Your Sherpas, they'll take your bags up with them and they'll always be at the tea house that you're staying at that night before you are. I mean, they're incredible, aren't they?
Yeah, they're amazing people. And what they do as well, so at breakfast you'll get given a menu for lunch and you'll choose what you want for lunch, and then they ring ahead to where you're stopping on your lunch, order your food so it's ready for that time that you're estimated there, and then when you have your lunch you have a menu for the evening meal. Again, you choose what you want, pre-order it so it's ready for a time, and then when you sit down and have your evening meal, generally where you have your evening meal you'll be having breakfast, so you choose your breakfast and that'll be ready for the time that your Sherpa says that's what time we're having breakfast. It's usually an hour before we're leaving. For us it was about 7 o'clock, wasn't it?
7 o'clock, genuinely, we had breakfast.
Yeah, and the menus are pretty much the same. So dinner's pretty much the same food you'll have for your evening meal, and across the tea houses from the bottom to the top and back down to the bottom, the menus are pretty standard. There's a few places where you can get like burgers and pizza.
Yeah, there is, but genuinely it's dalbart, which is the Nepalese main dish. You can have that everywhere. That's unlimited as well, so if you're feeling extra hungry, go for that dish. It consists of rice, curried potatoes, vegetables. You can have that unlimited.
Yeah, and a poppadom.
And a little poppadom as well.
Yeah, so if you want it 5 times over, you can have it 5 times over.
Dalbart power, 24 hours.
I'd also recommend the Sherpa stew, just because it's just full of goodness, isn't it? It's full of like garlic and ginger and
vegetables.
It just make you feel a lot better.
It does.
On a down day, it's a good pick-me-up.
It is. Yeah, there's noodle dishes, there's potato dishes, rice dishes, there's a lot of soups as well. You won't be going hungry on the trek. There's so much choice of food, both vegetarian options and meat options. But just ask your Sherpa guide or your CEO if the meat is safe to eat at that particular tea house that you're at, and they'll advise on if that's okay for you to eat and safe.
Yeah, because some places the food's helicoptered, some places it's, you know, if it's took you 3 days, it's took the food 3 days to get there. So yeah, just ask your Sherpa.
Yeah, and even you'll find out at the tea houses as well, you can always buy chocolate, crisps, snacks. That's always available for you to buy behind a counter, or they have a little shop attached, don't they?
Buy beer as well.
Yeah, not that you'll be
No,
wanting
you
beer.
won't
We
want
do
it.
not recommend that you drink beer on the way up.
And bottled water,
yeah.
you can get that the whole way through, so you
Yeah.
don't really need to take a filter bottle like we did, do you?
No.
We thought we'd have to be filling it up out the taps everywhere, but now bottled water everywhere.
Yeah, you can buy bottled water everywhere. Yeah, please don't worry about the food. Veggie options are good. The only thing I would say, if you are vegan, you might struggle a bit with milk alternatives. We didn't find that when we did our trek there was milk alternatives for your tea, coffee, cereal, but I suppose you just do what you can and work around it.
Yeah, straight coffee, straight tea.
Yeah. But porridge with water.
So that's like leads us on to our first night then in Phakding.
Our first night in Phakding.
Yeah.
To be fair, when we first got there, the surroundings were lovely, wasn't they? We
Yeah,
were
it's
surrounded in the
amazing.
mountains. But what we found is that it was a lot colder that first night than what we'd expected it to be, just because you're in the mountains and you're so shaded. You thought you was going to be chilling in your shorts in the tea house, didn't you?
Yeah, so I got this idea that, you know, you do, don't you? You sit at your home and you hear these stories and stuff, and you just can't imagine it. And it is a lot different when you're there. It was freezing. I wasn't in my shorts, so I got my big thick coat on.
Yeah, it was Shangri, the guest house where we stayed. The toilet situation, I can remember it was a shared toilet, wasn't it? But it was
Western
a
toilet,
Western toilet, so absolutely fine. I think he had a flush.
Yeah, it did, yeah, because
Yeah.
it didn't really get down that low there.
No.
And
It was clean. You take your own toilet paper because there's never any toilet paper included when you go to the toilet, so please do take your own toilet rolls, toilet paper. You can actually buy toilet paper at the tea houses. They just sell individual rolls, don't they, if you get caught short or whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty clean as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we had electric in the room, and the rooms are pretty standard. You walk in, 2 double beds. If you're lucky, you've got a sort of table thing. And there's a light, isn't there? And
Yeah.
nice view out the window, and
Beautiful.
there's a bit of a learning curve for us because that was the first time that we'd ever stayed in like single beds for a long time and in a sleeping bag. So it wasn't the best night's sleep. It was hard to get used to being on your own, sort of lay out straight in a sleeping bag, and it did feel really cold. And I made the mistake of hiring a sleeping bag. Oh my god, yeah. So I unrolled this sleeping bag, and the smell, because obviously like the tea houses, the smell of wood, the smell of fire, food. So you got all that embedded in this sleeping bag. Plus, it's done how many trips up to base camp and back, so people have been sleeping in it. It just wasn't nice, was it?
I personally don't think that sleeping bag was washed. The higher sleeping bags are washed, and your sleeping bag wasn't washed before you had it.
No, I don't. Definitely wasn't washed.
And it was a bit annoying, really, because we did actually take a sleeping bag with us. But you said, I don't think my sleeping bag's going to be good enough, which is why you hired one.
Yeah.
And then it turns out the hire one was like near enough the same as the one that you took anyway.
Yeah, but personal opinion regarding sleeping bags, they recommend you need -8 to -20 or whatever. I don't think you do. I mean, yours was up to -14, wasn't it? And, you know, majority of the time was quite warm.
Yeah.
With that over us.
Yeah,
So.
and to be fair, most nights, especially the further up you go, you will be sleeping in all of your clothes, and it is cold. There's not going to be a time where you're not going to feel cold. It's just, you just deal with it, don't you? We didn't freeze to death, did we? We're still here, but you do feel cold the further up you go.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi as well. Wi-Fi is another thing that you can have all throughout the trek.
Yeah.
From the first tea house that you stay at, all the way up to Gorak, Shep, all the way back down to where you end up. We just used the Wi-Fi, didn't we? Because we wanted to record our Strava hikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did have 4G signal all the way up to Tengboche. I think I had a bit at Gorak, Shep, and then nothing until I got back down to Tengboche, Namche, Bazaar.
Yeah,
but
because
that's an option as well for the lower section of the trail, isn't it? So the next 2 nights, and we stayed at Snowland in Namche Bazaar.
Yeah.
That was really nice, wasn't it? We had an ensuite, we had a cold shower in there that I took advantage of. It was only 30 seconds, but it was nice. I felt refreshed, put a clean t-shirt on, clean underwear on. It was nice. Western toilet in the room.
Yeah.
2 single beds, and we learned from the first night. We pushed the 2 beds together. Someone in our group had given us some fabric spray to air it out after we was complaining about the snow. So we sprayed it, aired it out the window while we went out on our acclimatisation hike, and then we used it as a bed sheet, didn't we? And we had your sleeping bag as our duvet. So with the 2 beds together, that sleeping setup, it was a lot more comfortable, wasn't it?
It was a lot more comfortable, and yeah, thanks to Lauren for giving us that fabric spray.
Cheers, Loz.
Yeah, that really helped air out that sleeping bag.
Yeah, and then we had electric in the room, didn't we? There
did.
was a hot shower that was optional. We never went for that, but a few people in our group did. And the common room was quite nice. We shared it with another group. There was electric heater in there, lots of places to plug in, and that pretty much sums up Namche.
Yeah, you don't really need to worry about the tea house like Namche. It was
fine,
comfortable, clean. Food options were great.
Yeah.
Any questions that you do have about the tea houses throughout this video, just drop it in the comments and we'll answer anything that we haven't covered already.
Yeah, so that leads us to Tengboche. There's literally not a lot there. Like Tengboche is literally the peak of a hill. It's just the tea house is on top of the hill. There's a monastery there. We went to the monastery. Tashidelek Lodge, wasn't it?
That was it, yeah, in Tengboche. I can remember that feeling clean. That felt clean as well. That was comfortable. The toilets, that was a shared toilets. You don't have an ensuite. I think there was a mixture of both Western style toilets and the Nepalese style, the squat toilets. I can't remember it being an issue. It was fine. No bad smell or anything like that.
Yeah, and the best thing about this tea house here as well, the Tashidelek Lodge, is we walked into our room, pretty standard again, 2 single beds. We had 1 plug socket for electric, but the view out the window, like I said, you're on top of a hill, so you're just looking straight out, and you got, I'm sure you could see Dablam, you got Mount Everest, and in the morning we watched the clouds lift, the sunrise over Mount Everest. It was fantastic. And another good thing about this tea house, what is it?
Oh, the bakery.
Yeah.
If you are a sweet tooth like me, the bakery, you will just love it. They've got carrot cake, cheesecake, chocolate cake. The chocolate cake that I had, I know people don't like this word, but it was the moistest chocolate cake I've ever had. It was just to die for, and I had a hot chocolate with it as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was we was on such a high at this point. Like the tea houses, were so good at this point. It was so comfortable, clean. The only thing I would say is about the bedding. I did notice that you walk in, not that you could just notice a few little marks and stuff on the sheets.
You got to think where you are.
Yeah.
I mean, what's Tengboche? It's got to be 3,500 meters.
Yeah, probably even more.
It was our 4th day, so you got to think where you are, respect it, and that's why we have sleeping bags and that.
Yeah, so we had our own sleeping bags, and also we would recommend taking your own pillowcase as well to put over the pillows when you get there, so then it's just your germs on the pillow and not somebody else's.
Yeah, so the common room at Tengboche, we had 2 fires, didn't we?
Yeah, it was quite warm,
lovely
actually.
and warm in there.
Yeah.
Oh, and another thing I forgot, we was told that a lot of the food is helicoptered in, so a lot of the people that were missing out on meat, they ordered chicken burgers and beef burgers. It's we're not convinced. We think it was the same as our veggie burgers, but even still, it was 4 days in and we was eating burgers
and chips
and carrot cake and it's like as luxury as you can get, isn't it really, for where when you consider where we are.
Yeah, Tengboche was absolutely brilliant. Tashidelek Lodge, if you're staying there, you won't be disappointed. Now moving on to Peaceful Lodge in Dingboche, where we had 2 nights here. This was our 5th and 6th night because we had our acclimatisation day in the middle, didn't we? Do you want to kick off Peaceful Lodge at Dingboche?
Yeah, we'd been a little bit battered on the hike up. It's all in our other videos if you want to check that out. I can remember I was looking like eating. I in my head I was like, yeah, the teahouses they're going to go down now. They're not. We've peaked. And I can just remember there being like this nice looking PVC modern looking building, and our Sherpa was like, oh, this is where we're staying. And we walked in and everything was like, it's quite white in there, quite bright.
Clean.
And it was, it's just really clean. And I think we'll start with the common room. There was a fire in the middle, there was U-shaped settees around that, all the tables around the outside. And then, we checked into our room again, PVC doors, plastic on the walls. It was just felt a lot more comfortable, didn't it? Yeah. 2 single beds. I believe we just slept in the one bed and put all our stuff on the other bed. We had an ensuite. It was at a funny level here, so the toilet would work in the day, wouldn't it, and the sink, but through the night the pipes had frozen, so we couldn't use it at night. We had electric, didn't we?
We did.
We had the Wi-Fi, and I had my first shower, and I can't explain how nice it was. This is definitely 800 rupees well spent. Yeah, so the trek up to Lobuche is quite tough, isn't it?
It is. It's a tough day. And the lunch stop on this day was a place called Lukla, and we haven't mentioned the tea houses that we had lunch at previously because it was all pretty fine, wasn't they? There was,
pretty standard,
fine. Yeah, absolutely fine. But this one, oh my gosh.
There was a toilet outside, wasn't there? And you went to it, you come back. It's basically a little shack, and it's the only one that was between Dingboche and Lobuche. So it was like 3 hours till the nearest other place with tea houses. And there was a horse in the kitchen.
Yeah, a horse trying to get into the kitchen. It just didn't feel clean, did it, this tea house?
It wasn't clean, was it?
It wasn't clean, and we did eat there, but we wasn't ill. Yeah. But you just have to do what you got to do, and it's right.
That's all we had.
All we had, and it was okay. We wasn't ill, but just to warn you about that Lukla. When you hear that word, just be prepared for not very clean.
Yeah. So when we got to Lobuche, we was feeling pretty battered, wasn't we? We was covered in snow, and we walked into Hotel National Park.
Yeah.
And the fire wasn't on. We was all freezing, and we was all grabbing ginger lemon honey teas, wasn't we?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, grab one of them. They make you feel a lot better.
Yeah, they do. And I can remember when we walked into that tea house in Lobuche, it was very dark. It just felt so dark. They probably had it so dark in there, so you couldn't see how like unclean it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the food's pretty much the same, isn't it? Standard. You just have to deal with it. But what really stuck out to me was when you walk into your room in the tea house, you have to walk through a corridor, and this corridor is basically half inside under a shelter, isn't it? And then half of it you're just looking out and it's outside, so it's just freezing.
There's snow in the corridor. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
There's snow in the corridor.
It's just so cold. The floor is just like walking on a sheet of ice because it's freezing. You go into your room and there is no luxury at all. It's just 2 beds. There was a table, wasn't there?
Yeah.
It was just like a fridge, wasn't it, walking in?
Yeah, it's basically, I'd say it's like sleeping in a walk-in freezer.
It was.
There's 2, you could just about call them a bed. We had coat hooks, though, a couple of coat hooks.
Coat hooks? And you don't take your bleeding coat off?
Yeah, there's no electric. But yeah, the toilets are down the corridor, if you want to discuss that.
Yeah, so toilets are all shared again. There's no lights either, so when it does get dark you are in the pitch black, so make sure you do take a head torch for the tea houses, because that tea house you are in the dark at night. The floor is just a mixture of snow that's frozen up. I'm not gonna lie, the smell as well, I can't even express the smell of that place.
Stinks.
It's just a squat toilet. There wasn't a westernised style toilet there inside, was there? It was just squat toilets. You can't wash your hands because the pipes are frozen up, so do take hand sanitizer with you. Yeah. You will get through absolutely bucket loads of that. And yeah, I can remember just squatting down over the toilet. And it's a good job there's a handle on the door. When you shut the door behind you, you squat down, you hold onto the handle, because otherwise you'd fall down it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, there's really stingy with the heat as well, because we was told that a basket of yak shit up at that altitude, communal room, wasn't it? Yeah, the basket of yak shit to power the fire was the equivalent of about $30. So yeah, they really didn't want to put the fire on, did they? And it's ironic really, because there's loads of yaks just outside. Obviously somebody's job to collect it, and
I think it's like special treated yak poo, isn't it, that has to be used for the fires. But yeah, they're limited further up you go, so it is cold. There's Wi-Fi though. There is Wi-Fi. Electrics as well. Do we have electrics in the room at that place? No, we didn't.
No. And then after that we got to Gorak Shep, didn't we?
We did.
We sort of stopped there for lunch and checked into our room. So what was your first impressions in the room?
So the room's pink, so it's not all bad. Yeah, walked into the room, I was like, oh, at least it's pink. But again, apart from that, it's just 2 single beds. The bedding, it's just like Lobuche, it's not washed. It's, you know, just take your own bedding, please. Take your own bedding.
We've got sleeping bags, so it's all good.
Yeah, we were fine. The toilet situation, that was pretty horrendous, like Lobuche.
It was just constantly frozen, wasn't it?
Yeah,
the men's actually had a urinal in. There's like a makeshift door there, a urinal, a machete, and a frozen tub of Napolese flush. They got Napolese flush, but it is pointless because it's always just a constant block of ice. So
they have that machete there to break through the ice, so then you can have the water to scoop in to put down the toilet or whatever. And that's squat toilets as well at Gorak Shep. But the smell, I'd recommend taking some Vicks Vapor Rub for those 2 tea houses. Those 2 are the worst tea houses that you'll stay in.
Oh yeah, it can only get better, can't it?
Yeah, it can only get better from when on descending back from Gorak Shep. But yeah, take some Vicks Vapor Rub just to sort of ease the smell a bit, because it does smell. And Gorak Shep, it's really busy, isn't it? The common room is so busy.
Because it's the last settlement or town before Everest base camp, so there's not really a lot there, so everyone sort of huddles into I think there's about 2 tea houses. I mean, it was full because people were having to camp outside, so at least with that sense, because it's busy, there's a lot of turnover on the food. So the food, it wasn't bad really, was it, considering where we was?
It wasn't really bad. I just suppose you don't feel like it's very clean there, but you've got to expect that because, you know, everything's frozen over. They can't wash anything, can they?
No. And out of everywhere on the trek, Gorak Shep is like the one place that they've got a card machine.
Yeah, there is an option at that tea house if you'd like to get a helicopter down to another point. I suppose you just speak with your Sherpa, your CEO, and they can, you know, arrange something for you specifically. But there is an option to be helicoptered back somewhere if you don't want to walk the full way back down.
Yeah, so the next tea house then, it was Paranama Lodge in Pheriche, and this was a big day because we'd been up since 4 because we did the Kalapata for sunrise and all the way back down. We had lunch at Lobuche.
Oh yeah, we had
stopped at the Lukla again for a coffee, and I think the highest it got that day was -3.
But saying that about Lobuche, because we did have lunch, didn't we, at Lobuche on the way back, I got to a point where just the smell of the food and the smell of the tea houses, those 2 tea houses, I couldn't physically eat anything.
No.
So if you do get to that point where you can't eat a cooked meal, what I was doing, I was eating like a 5-year-old and just eating like chocolate bars, wasn't I? Up until I felt ready to have a cooked meal again.
Yeah, so I don't want to sort of like be moaning. I just sort of just want to give an honest opinion of these tea houses. So with this Pheriche, I was told we'd have an ensuite and there's an option for a hot shower, which was really getting me through the day. We got there, checked into the room, standard, 2 single beds, the ensuite, western toilet. The water was all frozen, so it was pretty pointless, which I wasn't very happy about. It was dark, so I went for a hot shower. A hot shower They did have a hot shower, but the shower was outside, concrete floor, makeshift shed. So I don't think it really got past 30. Well, I won't even say it. The water was probably 30 degrees, but by the time it hit you, it wasn't. It was, it was just cold. It wasn't the experience I expected. And then that night, I was quite ill. I was like really shivering in bed.
He was. Nathan was in bed. We was both just at this point. I think we just. Was it from like night? Oh, it was from night. Was it Dingboche? Or we were just in one single bed, wasn't we?
Yeah.
We didn't even push the bed together. We was just in a single bed all the way back, and we was huddled together. And you were just like shivering from your core out. And I was so worried about you, but just be prepared for the cold because. It's still quite tough on the way down, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's a lot harder on the way down than what you think. But we had a good night's sleep. We was up nice and early, and the view, you can really see why it's called Paranama Lodge, can't you? The views are amazing, and the common room was nice. Nice thick cushions everywhere, nice views out the windows. There was no electric in the room, but we paid at that point to charge our laptop, which we then charged other devices off our laptop, didn't we?
Yeah, it did feel quite cosy in the common room.
And then from there, we went to probably the best tea house on the trip, wasn't it? It was like heaven.
Yeah, it was. Dablam Lodge in Kyangjuma. So this is night 10, and we were just feeling so. We've been trekking for so long.
Yeah.
We've had like 3 nights of not very luxurious tea houses. We've just been like scraping by, but this was just
proper pick me up, wasn't it?
It really was. Yeah,
it was so clean. It's proper family run. Well, so they're all family run, but the family there was so welcoming. The woman, she was constantly going around checking everyone was all right, if anyone needed anything, and the food was real good, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you could even get steak there. Couldn't you? They had steak at that tea house. Food choices were brilliant. The TV as well. We even watched the film that night.
The first film on the trip.
Yeah, Sherpa.
And how would you explain the room?
The room. Well, the room, it was warm, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, the whole place was just warm.
Yeah, so warm. Cosy, clean, comfortable. It smelt nice in there. We had our own ensuite bath.
And the toilet wasn't frozen.
Yeah. It was actually a flush as well. We got there and it was
flush.
A flush button toilet. You could wash your hands because the pipes weren't frozen.
A cold shower.
Yeah, a cold shower, which I still missed.
The cold shower is better than the Pheriche shower.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just lovely, wasn't it? That tea house is just what you needed for a pick-me-up and a reset. And it's like, you've got 2 more nights left of the trek.
And it
power through.
It's called Dablam Lodge because out the windows and just right outside of the lodge is just the amazing view of Dablam, isn't there? In the morning, I can remember going out and the cloud was just lifting and it just sort of revealed itself, and it's like the mountains are here.
Yeah, like the views are just absolutely spectacular. You can't compare them to anything else.
We've missed something.
What's that?
Prince Charles stayed there.
Oh yeah, of course. How could we miss that out? So yeah, as I was so welcoming a family-run business, they were so proud to have a visit from Prince Charles, wasn't it? Quite a few years ago, but the picture was hung up proudly on their common room wall, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So Chumoa guest house in Monjo. Do you want to sum that one up?
Yeah, it's pretty standard really, pretty similar to the majority of the tea houses. We had 2 single beds in the room. There was no electric, was there? There was 2 shared toilets at the end of the corridor and a shower.
Yeah.
And a nice large common room, and they had dancing on the night, didn't they, with the Sherpas?
Yeah, they did. We sort of had a night with the Sherpas dancing, and that was just on our G Adventures group trek, wasn't it? That was fun.
Yep, the food was good.
Clean, just pretty standard.
Yeah, nice view of the mountains.
Yeah.
And then finally, we was back to where we started at the Meera guest house in Lukla.
Yeah, Meera Lodge in Lukla.
And it was like, let's go all out, wasn't it? We had beer and we had nice food and because that place is more like a pub.
Yeah.
It's that vibe. It's there's a lot more going on, and the room, I think at that point it was like
nobody cared.
You don't care, but for some reason we had 3 beds in the room. We had quite a large bathroom, didn't we?
Yeah, we did actually. Yeah.
I don't think I bothered with the shower. I think I just washed my feet. Western toilet.
Yeah.
And we had like a 180-degree view of Lukla High Street, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
It was like looking down onto the high street with all the flags.
Yeah, that lodge, I can just remember it being like a celebration. You know, like everyone, by that point, you don't care, you know, where you're sleeping. You just think, right, I've done it, I've made it full circle to EBC and back. I'm going back to Kathmandu tomorrow for a luxury hotel. You've done it, you've made it, you've pulled through, and that is just the icing on the cake, isn't it? Having like celebratory beers. If you drink, you know, it was good vibes. Yeah, really good vibes. So that is a wrap for our tea house in-depth video. We hope that it was really helpful for you, and any questions that you have and any topics that we haven't covered that you've got any questions about, feel free to drop us a message in the comments, or you know, DM us on Instagram under Forwards Bucket List, and we'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you guys have.
Yeah, thanks for sticking around, guys. And like we said earlier, the full series is on our channel under, I think it's just EBC, isn't it? Under one of the playlists.
It is, yeah.
And that's just more in depth on the day-to-day, what the path's like, how we were feeling. So on that note, we'll leave it here. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. And if you're new around here, why not hit that subscribe button and check out some of our other stuff and join in on the adventure, because there's going to be plenty more bucket list videos coming soon, isn't there?
There is, but one thing to say to you guys as well, if you're doing the EBC trek, you've got it booked, planned, have the best time, embrace it, you will absolutely love it, and we wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, it is incredible, so enjoy. Cheers for watching, guys. Bye bye.